Hey y'all, welcome to Wrestling in Color. I'm your host, Stephanie. Anyway, let's dive into it. So, I appreciate those that came and watched and visited the page and left your comments under the videos. Do that. Comment, get into it. I don't mind. I love it. So, WWE, we got an update on the racist that is Lars Sullivan. Because I know a lot of y'all's like, he could change. Yeah, whatever. So, WWE went ahead and fined Lars Sullivan, I think his name is like Daly or some shit, $100,000 for his internet behavior. Okay, like, let's not forget that a very large sponsor of WWE by the name of Wrigley Mars, yeah, they were like, we see that there's this guy was doing all this stuff and y'all just like not gonna really address it. So what y'all gonna do? Because we need these people who may be offended and who are turned off to the product. If they decide to leave, we need them people to come on back. So y'all need to do something proactive to rectify the situation. What is it that y'all gonna do? So because sponsors, not Big E, because Big E said something and the man still came on to work. Ain't nobody consulted Big E. Big E ain't the motherfucking spokesman for ain't nobody wrong, anyway, ain't the spokesman for all the blacks and all the different cultures that was offended. He's not the sponsor of everyone or the spokesman. So there's that. This was strictly a response to a sponsor showing concern about optics and perception. Oh, kind of like Leo Rush, but whatever. It's a different story. So that's it. That's the update. They had to solidify their bottom line. That's all they did. Nothing spectacular. All this. Oh, look. No. Wrigley's Mars, a big giant company that has plenty of products that they sell to Americans, wanted to make sure that the optics were corrected, that WWE even attempted to look like they gave a fuck about the situation, a situation which they already said they were just going to let blow over. So what they apparently, I guess, was going to keep him off TV for a while because, wrestling fans are stupid anyway. So apparently the other night, Tuesday SmackDown, which is recorded because they over in London, there was another name change. Now you all know the name change that happened with the Viking Rangers Warrior Experience. Aaron, Roll and Hanson, Ivan and I. Listen, name change. They did it to Andrade Cien Almas. They did it to Mustafa Ali. This is Vince. This is the old man in the back, y'all. So we all know I'm not a fan of the thrown together Japanese because they're Japanese. I'm not a fan of Paige and her half talking ass and that thick ass English fucking accent. Oh, that's acceptable. That's acceptable. We can listen to her. We can listen to her be a manager to two Japanese women. She sticks out like a fucking pale ass emo thumb. But whatever. They come out. They got a new name. Listen, Kairi Sane was in NXT. Towards the end of her NXT run, she was joined with Io Shirai. And they were called the Sky Pirates. Clear, simple, because Kairi Sane's theme is pirate princess. Io Shirai's, her thing is she jumps and flies all over the ring, thus Sky Pirates. Beautiful. No one said the flying Japanese. No one said the Japanese kicking the boat. No one had to even involve the obvious, that is, two Japanese women. So here we are on the main roster. And, Vince, When it comes to NXT, I already think the man sabotages it. He don't give a fuck about none of that. What is the fucking point of even having NXT when you got somebody like this willing to take whatever these people came up with, whatever these wrestlers developed, and fuck it all up? So boom. The Kabuki Warriors are now the name of, oh God, Kairi Sane and Asuka. Asuka, who had a winning streak in NXT. Asuka, who didn't have to say much because she showed that she was going to beat your ass. Asuka, who I believe is a pretty decent age separation between the two. We could talk about that as well. Asuka's like 38. I think Kairi Sane, I'm going to guess, is maybe 20-something. I wouldn't be shocked if she's 35 too, because both of them look young. That's just genetics for Japanese. The Kabuki Warriors. So, here we go. WWE Universe, we see that. Kabuki Warriors. Y'all went nuts over the Viking Raiders, the Viking Experience, and all this other bullshit. Not because of the culture implications, because these two men are white men and they want to represent the Viking heritage. Not hard to grasp. But do you really think that Vince sat down and had a visceral thought process to Kairi Sane and Asuka? Kabuki Experience. I like it. Get Asuka and Kairi in here. Hey, ladies. I hope you understand what I'm saying, but if you don't, someone call Paige. Paige, tell them that I want them to be called the Kabuki Experience, because Kabuki got the mask and they got the clothes and the outfits and the colors and all of that. I like it. And they probably was like, okay, and went back. Listen, y'all don't have to Google Kabuki. Ain't nobody dumb. I don't got a Kabuki. I actually went to Kabuki theater in high school. Now, did I go on my own volition? No, it was a part of a learning program that we were a part of, and they wanted us to experience Kabuki theater. Kabuki is historically performed by males. They put on masks. The mask isn't called Kabuki. It's called Noah or something like that. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. No, or something like that mask. It does look similar to Asuka's mask, but it's not. Asuka does not have a Kabuki mask. And they do elaborate moves, and it's it's the music, and it's a whole experience. And it was cool when we went. I was a little immature then, so I just found something really funny about the word Kabuki, but I experienced Kabuki theater. And then when I took a theater class in college, I had to experience a couple of forms of theater. So please don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't have to Google theater. But what a lot of y'all need to Google is cultural sensitivity. Don't tell me, there's a restaurant up the street from me called Kabuki Barbecue Steakhouse. There's a video game called Kabuki Warriors. Here is a picture of Kairi Sane from 2015 where she had a Kabuki inspired makeup. She loves Kabuki, so I'm sure she was like, yeah, let's go with the Kabuki. They probably came up with, you don't know, these people ain't come up with none of this shit. These people ain't nobody's coming up with their name changes. All they fucking do is go, is Vince give them the memo, if he even invites them into the fucking office and says, this is what it is and this is what you're gonna do. And they be like, all right, well, them wrestlers don't got no fucking power outside of Charlotte, outside of, the one, Roman Reigns, outside of the ones that have legacy of family. These wrestlers don't got no fucking power over any fucking thing. Because if they did, Andrade Cien Almas would still be named Andrade Cien Almas. Mustafa Ali would not have changed his name from Mustafa Ali. Okay? And the list goes on. You really think the Viking fucking Raiders, when they was in NXT, the War Raiders, when they was in NXT, went to the Viking Raiders, to the Viking Experience, to the Viking this? You think them people really wanted to sit down and have that all fucked up to the point where it fucked up their entire character mystique? I watched the War Raiders do their wrestling with Ricochet and Aleister Black. I'm not even about to go into that. And when I tell you, I never really paid attention to the War Raiders. When I saw that big one, I think that was Hanson doing them flips and shit. And it was funny because the commentator was like, there's a high flyer in the group, in the team, and it ain't who you think it is. Now they're the Viking Raiders. So it had nothing to do with sports team. Oh, well, they can't call them that because of the sports team. It got nothing to do with war, because if it did, they wouldn't be going to Saudi Arabia and all this other bullshit. And you calling this one the War Guys. It's simply because Vince McMahon saw something, didn't like it, or thought he could put his own stamp on it. That way he could say, I did it. So now you got the Kabuki Warriors. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I know I have never actually met a Japanese person. I've met plenty of Chinese folks. And I know a lot, like somebody in the comments was like, well, they should have named them the Shanghai Warriors there. And somebody would say, well, that's not Japanese. And it was like, well, it sounds better. That's why, right there. That's why you got an African man playing a Jamaican man. People like you. Oh, well, it sounds better. You don't respect the culture of anybody. You just want to throw some shit out that flows. I'm just happy that they weren't called the Geisha Bunch or the Hot Geisha or the Flying Geishas. I'm just glad if somebody was in the room, said, hey man, please don't do it. Because you could also say Asuka's mask looks like a geisha girl with the white face. But understand that geisha, look, I'm not about to go into all that of what a geisha is and everything. I'll let the Google kings and queens go and Google the shit and come back and the Kabuki is, and it's a part of Kabuki. Yeah, everybody ain't fucking stupid. A lot of us do have culture. Just letting you know. Just to let you know. A lot of us do. So, do I like look, the bottom line, no, I don't like that the War Raiders name is changed. I'm going to continue to call them the War Raiders because they say war, 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 war. And now you got this other shit and they war, and it looks dumb. I'm not doing it. Number 2, no, I don't like the Kabuki Experience. Warriors, I'm sorry. I don't like the Kabuki Warriors. No, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's lackluster. I think it's lazy. You could have came up with something fucking else. You could have came up with, I don't fucking know, not that. Or you could have just said the team of Kairi Sane and Asuka. You could have said that. I mean, the Empress of Tomorrow and the Pirate Princess. The Empress and the Princess. You could have went with that. You call old girl the other one Fire and Desire. The Empress and the Princess. That I would have went with that. I would have went with Hanson and Rowe. I would have went with that. That would have been fine as well. But you know what? As always, the WWE quote-unquote universe full of fucking uncultured yokels, a majority of you are gonna find every fucking excuse in the book to say, oh, it's social justice warriors and the Japanese ain't offended. Like, you know what the fuck, you know. That's why the Japanese have their own wrestling promotion called New Japan. So they already know how to talk to each other. I doubt they're gonna get some white wrestlers and call them, you know, the troglodyte experience. I doubt that's gonna happen. Or have them coming out like, you know, or get some black wrestlers and call them, you know, the chocolate wonders. Like, I doubt that's gonna happen, because the thing is, and the reason why a lot of different ethnic groups push for their ethnicity to be at the table is so shit like this don't happen. White people know how to handle white people. But when it's time to handle other ethnicities, y'all get fucking retarded and screwy and don't know what to fucking do with yourselves. And it's not just white people. It could also be Chinese people who don't know how to handle Japanese people. Because y'all do know Asians is not like a monolith. It's just like black people. Everybody that looks like, you know, looks black isn't one type of black, right? You do know that. Like, you know Kofi Kingston is from the continent of Africa, right? From a country called Ghana, and they said, hey, he gonna play a Jamaican, and we gonna name him Kofi Kingston. Ain't nobody can fucking tell the difference. Good. Y'all bringing up the character that was wrestling some years ago named Kabuki. I guarantee you that's probably what Vince had in mind. That's all. It was terrible then, and it's terrible fucking now. Period. Tahiri, look how they had that man acting. We don't have to go through that. I could go and pull up all kinds of Asian actors, Asian wrestlers, and all the fucking stereotype and stereotypical behavior that was allowed. And the reason why it was allowed is because the internet was not there the way it is now, where you could just go online and type in WWE and say, and at WWE, and say y'all ain't shit, and they may respond and they may not. If you go to Target and your experience was terrible, you can literally type it at Target and say, listen, I went to this Target store in this particular part of town, in this state, and I was treated like garbage. And Target will respond to you and say, we are sorry that you went through that. Can we send you some coupons? Is there something we can do to rectify the situation? This is where we're at today. Don't tell me why something was allowed to happen, because you, number one, wasn't around the people that were offended, and two, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. That's it. Just like Lars Sullivan he was only 20. 20 years old isn't a child. Okay? He sat down at the computer and had some very thoughtful, well-written, racist bullshit to vomit all over the internet. Oh, well, you know, if you kill yourself, you a joke, and you weak, and this, and then y'all come up with, oh, well, we had to let him chill out because he was having anxiety and stuff. No, he was just a whole racist, and you put him in a racist bowl of ice to simmer down, so when you rolled his corny ass out there, then we'd have been like, oh, I was never into what he was giving anyway, but that's fine. I'm really not into it. That goes for Hulk Hogan. That goes for the Ultimate Warrior toward the end of Ultimate Warrior's life, when he stopped wrestling and he was a real angry, bitter, pissed off old fucker who said some of the worst shit possible, all available to you on YouTube. Don't you see Ultimate Warrior in the vignettes? Well, you can't say Hulk Hogan didn't make the business. You can't take what Hulk Hogan did because of what he said when he was it was 10, and you all of it. If having a background check doesn't mean anything, the next job I go on, I should just be able to walk up in that bitch. I don't need you asking for my fucking social media. Don't ask me for no references. You don't need a resume, because whatever I did in that old job, I was a different person, and I'm a new person now. Right? I am now a whole different person. If I was cutting up on the old job, I'm not going to cut up on this one. You got my word. That's all I could give you. And then I get on the job and cut up, and then a couple years later, you find out I was cutting up real good on the old job at the new job. Oh, well, we should have ran their background. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So, I guess because the census says we like it. I got a Kabuki restaurant down the street from me. It ain't no big deal. They didn't say they didn't like it. So, because the consensus of the WWE universe, as with everything else, if there's an overall consensus of society, then whatever is happening will continue to happen until it happens to society at large. Then motherfuckers is like, oh wait, so this goes for the same way for the WWE. The WWE, they like Kabuki Warrior. They like that an English woman is representing two Japanese women, because you all can't seem to get past their English and don't know how to read body language. Y'all like it. And because of that, this is what we have. You literally took Asuka from the dominant bad bitch she was in the NXT and destroyed her from the inside out. And it's going to happen to Kairi Sane. Matter of fact, it's happening to Kairi Sane right now, because you took both of their personalities, balled them up like some old paper, and they're now moving as a unit. That's it. I thought Kairi Sane's move was the flying elbow. Somebody said it's called the Kabuki elbow. Hey! What can I say? What I can say is them two don't need to be in a tag team, but the way they got this whole shit set up is disgusting. That's what I can say. Oh well. We'll see. I'm one person in a sea of dumb and nonsense. That's why this is called Wrestling in Color, the perspective of a person of black heritage. You see my picture, that's me. Looking at things from my perspective, not just the usual wrestling, white man who's like, no, I don't like Kabuki Warrior. I like the War Raiders, and that's what I'm calling them. I'm not calling Kairi Sane and Asuka Kabuki nothing. Period. I don't like it. I don't need you to explain to me what Kabuki is. I've already experienced Kabuki theater, and what them two women are giving are two distinct characters that have absolutely nothing to do with each other and have absolutely nothing to do with Kabuki. Just because Kairi Sane had did a Kabuki inspired makeup has nothing to do with her being a private princess right now on the WWE. In the discussion, there's nothing else you all can tell me. Thank you for listening to Wrestling in Color. I'm Stephanie, and I'll see you back here next time. Alright, y'all. Be cool.